Hello everyone, my name's Kyle and this will be the 7th video installment in my YouTube lecture series about world religions. Today's discussion is going to be about the limitation of language. So, as I'm assuming you would know right off the bat, language is very much bound by inflection because that will indicate or imply how you feel. So, if someone says, "Hey, how are you?" you have this feeling that they're happy, or "Hey, how are you?" You'd think that they're sad or burdened just by your presence. However, we can express multiple emotions at once. You can be, both happy and confused at the same time. Like, what? When people typically put the exclamation point question mark at the end. And, it's because language is actually very much evolving. It used to be an interrobang, which is the name of the symbol for the exclamation point question mark. There used to be one, however, it just stopped getting used because it wasn't that popular of a symbol. And, with language, you can really only express what's in front of you. Now, even if there are works of fiction like Harry Potter that talk about these worlds that are beyond the current grasp of civilization because we don't have the ability to, wave a wand and make something happen, we still have to base it off of the world itself. We don't just, purely speak in nonsense. Maybe with the exception of the Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll, which is mostly gibberish. And even with language changing, we've moved from a mostly text-based language to now the average form of communication would, be texting on your cell phone, but people use emojis quite a bit, which is meant to express emotion through it. And emotions are felt regardless of the language that you're using, because humanity exists within three worlds at once. We live within the physical, the mental, and the emotional world. And these worlds, for the most part, don't really get along together. You don't have a lot of times where they intersect, except for language, because that's designed to, be this device to permeate between the three worlds. And it would require you mastering every religion just to grasp how to communicate with what's going on, not even necessarily to understand. For example, let's take a word in English, which would be cleave. So a lot of you probably had the same thought I did when I first heard the word cleave, which would be to split, because you think of like meat cleaver, which would be something similar to a knife that slices things. However, the word cleave means both to separate and to join together, because these are actually one action, the same way a zipper can separate or join together. A zipper is a cleaver. So it's important to understand that language is very complicated because everything, as we've discussed in this series, must interbe. And as Jesus had said in the book of John in the Bible, he called himself the living word. Along with it, in the Old Testament, in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12, said that the word of God is alive, which directly correlates with the Islamic belief that certain scholars say that every breath you take from birth until death and everything that you say is just a pronunciation or an exaltation of the holy name. Now, I know we believe that we exist as an island within a sea of people because we don't know what other people are thinking. But as we have been discussing, everything must interbe. You are as much those around you as you are those things inside of you. Because this fully encompassing idea of what the world is cannot simply be put into language, no matter how many syllables we use. Contrary to some German language, which could have, words with up to 20 syllables, they get very long with the words. Now, taking this a step away from just language itself, if we look at science, one of the current mechanics of the world is string theory, which says below the atom, which was believed to be the smallest thing, it came from the word atmos, which means undividable. We come inside to see that under it is all of these mishmash strings or wires that vibrate together that create language, because light, sound, and atomic movement are all these vibrations that happen, which you could correlate very easily with the Hindu idea of Shiva, which is the destroyer god, which is keeping the entire universe alive by doing this cosmic dance, which could be seen as the string theory, which is saying that, hey, under all of this is this vibrational dance of everything, because the universe is this, living language. And I know that modern or contemporary concept of language is really just about putting ideas in a box by saying, oh, this is a wall, this is a face, this is a hand. But for every inside, there has to be an outside. So there has to be things outside of language that you can explain, because language is designed to make it simple and easy to understand. However, by seeing everything as not just being this material manifestation of here or there, you're able to realize that it is all one, and language is kind of just this nonsense that we use to play a game. Now, I know that in these videos I like to draw conclusions, but I figured that it was most appropriate with the limits of language to not have a conclusion at the end. So, thank you for watching.